Hi there, this is Carl Irwin, and welcome to the channel. This is a short introduction to introduce myself, this channel, its purpose, and some of the things that we'll be looking at on here in the future. Essentially, this is just a place for me to put my music so that it can be heard and seen and listened to, but it's also going to be a place where we'll discuss all things related to music as the occasions arise. So be on the lookout for new videos and discussions where we'll talk about music, music composition, music theory, and also digital music creation using a variety of tools and resources. Just so you get to know who I am, this is my website. You can visit my website by the link on the channel or by visiting bit.ly/Carl Irwin. And this is a very simple page. It has some information about me. It also has multimedia links so that you can visit my various pages. So I have pages where I have music residing. For example, I have Bandcamp, SoundCloudAudio.com, certainly YouTube, this channel here, but also a commercial presence on Spotify, Pandora, also Apple Music, and a variety of other places where you can stream my music, the commercial releases of my music. This is the YouTube channel that you're on right now. Certainly will look different probably by the time you're looking at this video, but on here I have some playlists for albums that I've released, and various videos will show up on here as well, plus these links that I am talking about to various hubs where my music is at. Bandcamp is probably the most dependable hub where you'll find more up-to-date offering of the music that I have released, where you'll find film scores that I've done for short films, independent projects, and also EPs and albums and singles that I have released. Another place would be Spotify, of course, where you can find commercial streaming. If you just search for Carl Irwin, I show up. You can find my music that has been released commercially there. I also have a Facebook page, Carl Irwin Music, where you can join and follow, and you'll find some news releases, and certainly things will be posted there from various social media outlets so that you can follow along with what I'm doing or inquire about anything if you have an interest in some of my work. And then also my platform. I am a Linux-based musician. I use the Linux operating system for all of my work. I've been using it for a long, long time. And here I've got Ubuntu Studio is my main Linux distribution that I use. It is optimized for audio-visual content creation. And I really enjoy Linux because it's extremely powerful, very portable, very customizable. And certainly lately, over the last 10 years or so, there is not a loss for tools, very high-quality tools to create music and certainly visual art, if you're into that as well, that is comparable to any of the proprietary programs and distributions that you'll find out there on Mac or Windows. And I've just settled on this, and I'm very happy on Linux. And if you have an interest in Linux, I'd be happy to talk with you about that. The videos that I do in the future will not necessarily be specific to Linux. We'll talk about music in general, but I will be using Linux tools as we look at digital audio workstations, sequencers, music composition, and such. Along those lines, the software that I use for music composition is MuseScore. I moved to MuseScore back when it was just starting. I had been a Finale user for a long time, all the way through my schooling in graduate school for music composition. I used Finale, wrote all of my music on Finale, and then I switched over to MuseScore because I found that it was extremely capable and frequently updated, and certainly didn't lock me into subscriptions like the proprietary software packages were doing at that time and continue to do now. So MuseScore 4 is the latest release. It has a very, very strong sampled sound set and play engine. I would venture to say it is probably the best that there is on the market. And it's absolutely free and available for anybody to use. We'll be looking at that certainly in the future on videos on this channel. I also use, for digital audio workstation, I use several. I use Ardor, which is probably the most robust Linux-based digital audio workstation. It is a cross-platform. You can use this on Mac OS and Windows. Most people on Mac OS and Windows do not. They use a more proprietary distribution like Logic or one of the other Reaper or one of those others that are out there. There's affordable variations on digital audio workstations, and there's more professional ones as well. But I use Ardour, very, very powerful DAW for Linux and, of course, other OSs as well. I also use Qtractor quite a bit. This is a Linux-specific sequencer and audio workstation for MIDI and audio. And I've done a lot of my sequencing on Qtractor for several years now. This has been more of my go-to. I have more recently switched over to Ardour, but this is one that I actually have enjoyed very much and have quite a bit of a knowledge base in. So we'll be working out of this probably in videos in the future. I also use a little bit LMMS, which is it's sort of a clone of the old Fruity Loops, FL Studio as it's known now. It is a beat maker sequencer. It can handle audio, and it can handle MIDI. It does not do audio recording, but you can use audio samples, of course, and import audio recordings into it to sequence them together. It has a number of onboard tools that are very, very good for electronic music specifically, but it will also play sampled sound sets via a number of tools and various types of integration that it has on other Linux-specific tools that are out there. So LMMS I use for some electronic music creation when I'm not working out of Ardour Qtractor. Also use LMMS to create various types of loops if I'm working in electronic music that is requiring loops. It's very good for that on Linux. Also cross-platform, so it's free open source and cross-platform. I also use for sound sample sets, I use the Vercillion Studios sound sample sets. This is a very basic kind of sample set of live instruments, very, very versatile, very usable for basic instrumentation for orchestral music. And there is another a variation of this called the Virtual Playing Orchestra, which I use quite a bit. And this is much more expanded, developed by Paul Battersby, and I use this for my sampled sets primarily when I'm working out of a digital audio workstation. I will tend to use these for my orchestral samples. And I'm replacing a lot of this work now with the Muse sounds from the Muse group because their play engine is just so stellar. I've been converting over to that. And for electronic samples, I tend to use Zin Fusion, which is the current version of the old ZinAdd Sub Effects. And this is a very Linux-specific a synthesizer, and is extremely powerful, has a lot of presets, but also highly customizable. And I use a number of other synthesizer tools as well that are Linux-specific. So that's me. Those are the tools that I use, and this is where you'll be able to find me in the future, where I will be sharing my music and sharing my ideas and conversing with you in the community. So thank you for visiting, and good luck and happy mixing.